That's weird. Let me try this. Oh, whoa. Yeah. Now it's double. Let's turn that one off. Feedback Paintover time. Okay. Greetings, everyone. We're going to do some feedback in Paintover for a fellow artist. Let me just move this text here. Just going to move it down here for now. Okay. Okay, so music's gone for now because I need to be able to put this on YouTube and not get it demonetized or not get it flagged with audio, right? So that's the only reason I turned off the music. But I'll turn music back on in a moment, and we'll get into some work after this. But this is a piece by, let me look up the name. This is a piece by, I'm in the wrong, here you go. Shayd. The username is Shayd. I'm friends with them on. Well, I'm not really friends with them. I don't really know them that well, but we're soon to be friends on Russell Jones's The Trench. It's a Discord channel where we discuss art stuff and give each other critiques and do challenges together. And Shayd wanted feedback on this older piece, and I wanted to kind of read out what their goals are, right? So like that's an important part of getting these critiques. You got to understand what the goal is. Okay. First of all, I keep forgetting to do this. My name is Miguel Coronado III. I'm a illustrator, concept artist living in London. I've been working in the industry for about 9 years now, in the video game industry for about 9 years. Before that, I was a freelance illustrator. So that's who I am. If you found my YouTube channel, I'm posting again. I used to post back in 2016, 2017, and then I got busy with work. But I'm making an effort to post again pretty much every week. And yeah, I'm active on several Discord channels, art channels. And so this is the piece from Shayd. Main goals. They wanted to look like a legendary creature in Magic the Gathering. Narratively, they wanted the storm and the harpy to seem like they were connected to the same kind of character. Do I prefer Mike or Miguel? My closer friends call me Michael. People at work call me Mike, and my legal name is Miguel. That's why I use my legal name. But sorry. Let's jump back into that. We tried to choose a palette that felt like a summer storm, wanted to feel dangerous but not necessarily threatening. The character isn't a villain, just powerful. The harpy is a bounty hunter that protects other harpies on the mountain. Inspiration is mostly just that they love making fantasy regional to where they grew up, and they chose the red-tailed hawk as the bird that they're basing it off of. Inspirations for like finish quality, like Jason Rainsville and Tyler Jacobson, Corey Brickley, Martin Motet, and Feng Zong. Okay, so that's kind of the rundown of what they're looking for. They said they have trouble with textures. They said that they think they biffed the execution, which I don't think they. It looks pretty good. Everyone's always hardest on themselves, but let's just look into it. Let's pull the iPad over, and let me get my pencil out. So first, initial thoughts. Initial thoughts on feedback are anatomy. I think anatomy can be worked on. What specifically? Like, what are you talking about when you say that? I'm talking a lot about the pose. Let me get the magenta. There we go. I'm talking a lot about the pose. I'm talking a lot about the basic muscle structure. Um, this leg here. Oh, I don't like that pen. Let me switch it. I'll use the pencil here. Okay. This leg here, you'll notice it's like very stubby compared to this leg here. Um, and I know, the goal would be to have it going backwards in perspective, but it's a little off, and it's kind of breaking the pose a bit. So that's kind of my initial thoughts. So anatomy issues are like my main thing I want to say. I think there's like a level of finish that isn't quite there yet. You'll notice that like the way the feathers come out of the flesh, that hasn't really been resolved. It doesn't really. It looks like the feathers are just like glued on to the muscle. There's not like a flow um, in terms of like how are these connecting to the body. So we need to figure out how to resolve that. And a few little things. There's some like perspective issues, like on the necklace. I feel like the necklace is a little flat. It's drawn like this, but I feel like at the angle we're at with this guy, I feel like some of these should be a little bit more foreshortened. Let me switch it up. This pen's not really. This is like my red markup tool. So the tail has some like kinks in it. I noticed like right here, there's like a kink, and right here there's like a kink. It's not like a smooth tail. It's almost like there's like a bone that's broken in the tail. And then certain things like this skull isn't resolved. It's just unfinished. So it's kind of like the level of finish is kind of all over the place. The skull's down here. They could use some more finish. And then also the values. So abrupt. The values here. So like the way the knee is kind of floating, and then you've got all this dark space here. What that looks like is like there's like a chunk of flesh sticking out, and then you've got like this like shelf of flesh that's stuck back here. And the knee should look more like it's the knee has like two parts to it. It's got the end. It's the end of this. What is it? The femur? I can't think of the name. It's the end of this bone, and then the beginning of this bone touching, and then there's the patella on the knee. So that's kind of what you're seeing when you see the front of the knee, which isn't really being reflected here. So let's do a quick trick to analyze some other things I'm seeing. Pose itself, I feel like the pose could be more dynamic. This leg, this leg could be like out, and then this leg could be like out. I feel like something like this with this leg further back. That's kind of what the original goal was to kind of have. In order to get the pose right, take a picture of yourself doing the pose. I feel like you could have more of a bend in the legs to create some more interesting angles with the pose. And then the body, we could maybe push that perspective a bit, so that like biceps also pretty big. You can push the perspective a little bit, and you can maybe have like these back muscles flexed out. Um, the wings, this actual look of the wings looks pretty cool. I don't think the lighting on the chest. I don't think the lighting on the chest is correct. Um, if you think about it, like there's light coming from up top, and then you've got like these dark patches right here. Um, that's kind of confusing, right? Because there's nothing. What's causing that shadow is what I'm trying to ask. There's also some value issues. So if I take this layer, fill it with white, change it to color layer, we can start seeing some of the value issues. So like if I zoom out, here's one of the problems. If you zoom out really small, the image becomes hard to read. It's hard to tell what the wings are, where the body is, and then like his legs kind of get lost in the background. So a quick fix for that kind of stuff is to kind of bring the values in together. The lighting on the bicep is very bright. So the lighting on the bicep is like 100% white. Right, so that can't be correct. The lighting on the bicep cannot be 100% white because the lightning in the background is 100% white. So the bicep can't be glowing as bright as lightning. You kind of get that thought process. Um, if you have lightning and the lightning's pure white, nothing else can be pure white. So we're gonna let's do a quick like adjustment to the values. So I'm going to take like this dark black color, and I'm just going to paint over the muscles. I feel like the pose needs to be referenced a little more. I feel like there's some issues with how the arms are, and yeah, noticing that issues with the arms, like the bicep's too big, and then this one bicep, as I paint over it, this bicep on the right looks much smaller than the bicep on the left. So you kind of need to make those a little more symmetrical. Not, I mean, for the most part, they should be symmetrical because it's kind of confusing to have it so asymmetrical. Lightning behind the character, it's going to cause a silhouette kind of thing going on. So I'm going to go ahead and just take all this darker tone, and I'm going to just throw it on top. And then we're going to just hold on. My chat got blocked. Oh man, some hardcore bone jokes. Just boning around. Okay. So like I'm taking this. Okay, I'm taking a dark value. I'm putting it over the whole character because the lightning behind the character would create a silhouette, and we'd even see silhouette on the skulls. Not silhouette, but like anything not facing the lightning would be in shadow. So I'm just going to keep adding that shadow in here. This nest, like there's like some light coming from the nest. On like this could all be in shadow. This is just one way to do it. I mean, and then his head. He's got glowing eyes. I'll put those back in, but okay. And then also like let's just get the wings into while we're at it. Do the lasso tool. This is just a temporary, this is like a quick fix just to show you what it'll look like. I don't do paintovers like I'm not going to literally paint the image and fix it. I'm going to show you just a quick like example of what I'm talking about. So this is kind of my example. Okay. And we come down here, circle, and just get this wing, fill in the space. Let me just turn this to overlay. Oh, that doesn't look good. Let's keep it on multiply and tone down the opacity a bit. Something like this would be a little more correct. There's still some dark values in the chest, like the chest. It drops into shadow. Like this area of the chest looks strange because like that's like you're implying that the chest is like curving over itself, but that's not how the rib cage works. So it would probably be more like the bottom of the pec would be in shadow, but the top would still be receiving some light, the ambient light of the sky. Something more like that. And then some of this wouldn't be as dark down here. And then if you wanted to bring back the white of the eyes, you can bring back the white. And then you can still have all that rim light you had on the wings will still be there. But it's and then you have a little bit of the rim light on the arm. But let me tone that down a bit. It wouldn't be like you might have a little bit of rim light on part of the arm here, and then a little bit here, but you don't try not to make the rim light one solid line. Don't like come in here and do this. You gotta like think about the top would receive the rim light, but there might not be rim light on that side, and then you'd have some rim light over here. Something more like that, and then you might have a little bit of rim light on the tail. Oh, I didn't even darken the tail, did I? Let's darken the tail. Just to get a better read. So like, okay, so we've darkened the character. So if we shrink it down now, you can see his like shapes better now. You can kind of see what's going on. Lighting from behind makes my brain hurt. This is cool. Yeah, lighting from behind is still a bit tough. But you see how like let me do a copy canvas, paste. Let me turn off all the layers we just did, and I'll turn it. So that's what it looks like if I turn off all the layers we just added, and then if I turn them on, you can see like we can get a read of the silhouette better at a small scale. So then we can kind of come in here and go, okay, so if that's at a small scale, like it's going to look better at a big scale now. The wall behind him, this wall could also receive like more shadow probably. Like if this rock's overhanging the rocks below it, this whole area might be like in shadow. When lightning strikes, it's like a flashlight coming on. It's like you get like a bold directional light. Kind of come in here, maybe Maybe there's a shadow from this rock, shadow from that rock. Just kind of come in there and I'm gonna tone down the shadow in a second, but this is I just like to block it in at full opacity. Just take a look at the shapes. And tone it down. Before, after, you can kind of see how it's looking. The anatomy thing, so like if you keep the current pose, the leg should probably come out a little further than this. Come out to about here, and then this leg that's bent underneath would be like more down this way. Then I need to carve out that, so it would be something more like that. And then you do have a little bit, this quad looks a little too big, looks a little too fat there. Something more like that would be better. Okay, so like we're not talking about character design here. I haven't really commented on like the design of the character. I know you said you wanted it to be like regional to you didn't tell me the region, so I don't know where you're from. So you said a red-tailed hawk. The guy kind of looks vaguely Native American, like he's got like a headdress on almost. So maybe you're from someplace with Native American cultures. Let's see. Let's see how bright. How bright is the sky? The sky is about a mid-tone. The lightning is at 100% white. And then this rock here is at the same mid-tone. So that kind of tells me that the rock probably isn't going to be as bright as the sky. So we could take like this whole area and just select this all. And then we can select all this here, down here. And then also some of this down here. Anything. And then we can drop in fill layer, make it multiply, tone it down just a little bit. It doesn't need to be that dark. I think that looks a little better. You're getting more of a graphical read. Western American First Nations, yeah. You kind of see how where we're taking this. In terms of, okay, so like the feather thing, when I said like the feathers are just like kind of just there, it goes from skin to feather, there's no transition. You should look at maybe like baby birds that have like feathers that are just starting to grow out of the skin. Look at like ostriches, like their legs, because their legs are like, featherless. And take a look at if you can find photos of an ostrich's leg and like where the feathers transition in. That would be key. That's something to consider. That will help you with that. And then the skull, you need to reference the skull and draw the skull. That's pretty simple. Lighting pass. Again, use the black and white method I just used. You could throw on a black or white color layer. Take a look at your values. Make sure it's reading clearly at a small scale. It's going to look good at a big scale if it looks good at a small scale. One thing we haven't addressed in the background is that you'll notice at a small scale you can't tell there's mountains back there. That might be okay. That might be an opportunity to add in like a third value, so it's not sky, it's not the foreground, it's like the midground. That's going to be something to think about. That's kind of my suggestion. I could take this duplicate, I could take this original layer and I could turn it to color layer, and then you can kind of see like the differences between the two versions we made. So if I turn that to normal. Okay. So this is like the Paintover version I did. It's kind of crappy looking, but you kind of see like the differences. The values on the chest aren't correct. I mean, like I don't think it would be that dark. Like the difference between this shadow shouldn't be that dark. You know, I think it might be like maybe like this dark. So it's like I don't think it would be completely that. It wouldn't dip into that darkness so soon. And that's something to think about when you're painting. Is that like these pockets of shadow? The same way I said the bright white implies it's like pure white. Pin feathers, yeah, pin feathers. The same way I said that the brightness implies pure white. Um, like the really dark darks imply like nothing, like there's nothingness there, like that, like that's almost pure black. So you could probably lift those out. Come in here with like a lighter brown, lift out that black color, so it's not so black. Um, that would be something to do. Consider that. Take some of these like feather colors underneath here, bring those values up into the arm. Anyway, there's the Paintover, the kind of quick and dirty Paintover, and then if I collapse this down, I'll turn it off. This is kind of what you had. There's the other notes. Okay, so the other notes to consider, like there's these value considerations, lighting considerations, and then you got to think about like just polish. Like I said, the skull here, like in the middle of the picture, should be a little more finished. The skulls in the bottom, those should be a little more finished, a little more accurate. Um, face is looking pretty cool. You could probably take a nice reference photo to fix up some things. But I think that's about everything we should cover for today. And that's a lot to work on. That's like fixing anatomy, fixing the pose, fixing the values, uh, working on it a little more to make it a little more finished, moving the leg. Anytime you have to move a body part in an image, it's like you gotta just you're in the ads more finished. Mamo Swine, are you Shayd in the Discord? I'm saving this video for you, so if you missed it, I'll post it onto my. Yeah, you're Shayd. Okay, cool. I'm posting this onto my. I'll put it on my YouTube and link it to you, so you can see the full thing. Just FYI. But yeah, so this is the funny darken it because they originally had dark. I critique the lighten the whole thing. I mean, you could lighten it. I feel like it's more dramatic with the backlighting. It looks really epic that way. And it reads really well in a small scale. But you could always lift out, like, you could take this ambient sky and just, like, lift out, you could lift out the values a little bit. It would still kind of give a nice read. You'd have to, like, go in and paint it all and fix it up. But, like, that was my main. So I'm going to sum it up for you because I know you missed part of it, but I'm going to upload the video later so you can watch the whole thing. It's before, after, after. It's just kind of like, to me, it's just bringing in the lighting that I'm seeing. It's like, if you're having that strong backlighting, you should use it. It's lightning bolts striking in the back. Everything would light up. You'd see this like silhouette. You'd even you know what? You'd even get the before I forget. Like oops, wrong tone. You'd even have like the shadow in the like coming across like this, like on the bottom, like stretching over the viewer, Like the shadow would be like coming into the prominence. I'm sure to watch the whole video. What do you mean by more finished? So what I mean by more finished, yeah, my original suggestion suggests not to do that, so you changed it. Okay. I mean, this is my feedback. My feedback is make it more backlit and like lean into it. That's what I think. Um, you could still like you could add a secondary light source if you want. You know, um, when I mean by more finished, I mean like your image, like the skulls on the bottom of the piece look too unfinished for the artists that you were referencing. Like if this was like a was it Tyler Jacobson? Part Cocteau. Okay, cool. These skulls look, oops. The skulls are coming off really cartoony, like it's like a cartoon. And then this guy looks real, like he's like more finished. So it makes it look more like you just didn't finish the skulls. Like you didn't really bother to finish these that much. And I feel like it's a little too unfinished. And then this skull right here looks a little too unfinished. Like if I zoom in, it's like, part of it's like what's going on here? You got to like, finish this eye cavity and like, maybe add in like the where the little bone is. I have a deer skull on my desk somewhere. But you get the whole idea. I mean, like I just mean finish it more. It's like this, not there's not like a secret to it. Just finish painting it. Um, that's kind of my feedback. Um, there's a lot to do if you're going to try and update it, you know. But yeah, it's one of them you like. Oh, okay, yeah. So yeah, I mean, just like go in there and finish it up. I'll sum it up one more time because you're here now. Um, you've got summation. This bicep is really big. You should probably make it more in line with this one. The shadows here looked really weird, so I kind of like took them out. This leg looked weird. You should fix that. It depends on how much you want to fix this stuff. You could always pose him even more like crouched. I feel like getting some more like angles in might be cool. But that would be like redrawing the whole thing, So I don't know how much you want to do that. Skulls need to be finished out more. You should resolve how the feathers look. So like I mentioned before, the feathers just like stop, and right here they just kind of appear out of the armpit area, and then like these feathers are just like implied, but then these ones are drawn and painted. So like they're all kind of all over the place. So you need to like think about how does this. And then Rick said pin feathers. So maybe look into pin feathers on birds. If you're going to study like a ostrich leg. Would it be worth editing it to restart? It's up to you. If you think all these suggestions are going to take you like a week to do, is it better just to start over and start from scratch? Would it take you less time? Or, if I was at work and they gave me this many notes, I would still paint over the image I had, because you kind of just like it's easier to it is easier to edit the image and finish it. As long I know it feels like a daunting task, but for me, I would just edit the image and finish it and just be focusing on it. Like I'd come in here and fix the leg, make it look perfect one day, do the other leg, make it look perfect the other day, and I might just chop it up and do it that way. But if that seems too daunting, just start over from scratch if you'd like. But it's really up to you. Yeah. When birds prefer them having keratin on them, so it's waxy hard to finish. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's my Paintover for you. I'm gonna upload this to YouTube. For everyone here in the chat, Um, one last time, before, after, before, after. Um, we're gonna put some music on. We're gonna get into doing some work, but I have to like hide my screen real quick. Um, I'll post this on my YouTube channel. I'll link you to it. Okay.